Andrew, you said in your artist statement for the Radar Commission that you'd been quite heavily immersed in the world of electronics with the first version of the band, the duo, and that you were moving to something more acoustic with this new lineup. And that's been quite exciting for you, hasn't it?
Yeah. Well, basically, we had just finished recording our latest album, and we added in quite a lot of extra stuff, so we sort of realised once we'd got to the end that we needed to get someone else in the band because there was no way we could do everything that was going on ourselves. And that's when we got Chris here involved.
We'd rather get a human than backing tracks.
Any
day.
We're quite anti-computer, so. Yeah.
It's forced everyone to play very differently. In the rehearsal room, it's been really exciting to hear.
Yeah. I think that's where I've kind of naturally, when we first started playing in the room, the three of us, that was my go-to natural role was to be the supportive one. So take some of the onus off Andy where he doesn't have to cover the entire sonic range. He doesn't have to be his own bass player, his own piano player, and his own lead. He can just kind of go off and start exploring a bit more because I can hold the rest of the stuff down. But then the more we've played in the room, I think we all kind of assume that role at different points where each one of us, I mean, we're all playing for each other the whole time, but sometimes one of us or two of us will be more supportive and allowing someone else to kind of take the reins and go wherever they want to.
Andrew, you said in your artist statement for the Radar Commission that you'd been quite heavily immersed in the world of electronics with the first version of the band, the duo, and that you were moving to something more acoustic with this new lineup. And that's been quite exciting for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think that was the Jazz self-commission has been really. It's been good for two reasons. It's been good for us as a trio to work together because it's kind of I feel like we've covered quite a lot of ground through the process of writing this piece together. But also, it's been fun experimentally working with a different palette of sounds as well. I don't think it's something we're still definitely going to get back to the electronics, but it's been good doing this as a kind of side project. It's been really good doing this because it's made us think, oh, what extra possibilities are out there? And I imagine at some point we'll probably start to blend things a little bit more together as well. So maybe we'll have, because we're thinking about recordings differently these days as well. The first records that we made were always just capturing what we do live, whereas now we're kind of thinking about recordings as being something different. So that's going to give us the opportunity to blend acoustic sounds with more electronic sounds as well.
I was struck by the piece Dartmoor, and obviously that's a place which is really stunning to look at. The landscape has inspired many different artists. Incidentally, Kate Westbrook, who is in our podcast series, her group, the Granite Band, makes reference to the granite quarries of Dartmoor. So how does the landscape of Dartmoor actually inspire you, and how does that permeate the music?
Yeah, I think it's just this barren landscape. I mean, part of it is the whole lockdown thing and getting back outside again, because I used to be really outdoors a lot, and with everything stopping, it's given me a chance to go running outside a lot more. So I've spent a lot more time outside, and just sort of realised how much I love being outside in the nature. I find it really inspiring, and Dartmoor specifically just really gives you that feeling that you're just a small, tiny speck on the planet, you know, and it kind of makes you that kind of personally that gives me comfort, knowing that I'm not actually important at all. And then specifically the story that we found out about Kitty J. So there's this legend that this woman, she was an orphan and she was kind of disgraced, so she ended up taking her own life. And at that time, if you committed suicide, you couldn't be buried in a church grounds. You had to be sort of, they used to, it's quite gruesome. They used to bury people with a stake through their heart on the boundaries, so that if their spirit came back, they couldn't they wouldn't know which way to go, and they couldn't come back and haunt people. And I just thought that was like a really kind of poignant metaphor for where all the artists and musicians are at the moment, being stuck on these boundaries and not knowing where our future lies.
So how do you think that permeates the music then?
I think, yeah, you're right. I think each movement's got a very, very individual energy, and like especially the first movement for me has always been quite an awkward, angular, uncomfortable feeling to it, which kind of was super tying in with the idea of the kind of where the creative industry is at right now. Yeah, and then the second movement's a bit more lyrical, I think.
Yeah, I feel like each movement can represent different points of kind of Kitty J's life or experience.
Yeah, we are quite conscious of not being too literal about the story, but yeah, it's definitely there in the music.
Mm.
I understand you actually plan to record on Dartmoor?
Yeah, so the Kitty J story happened in a village called Maniton. So we're going to film in the church where perhaps she might have been buried if she hadn't taken her own life.
Yeah, right.
Obviously, this has been a very testing year for everybody with the pandemic and lockdown and restrictions and isolation, etc. I've been asking all the artists this question: is there anything potentially positive that might have come from this situation among the negatives?
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely, yeah.
Absolutely.
I think we've all, obviously, we like you say, we've all been writing out a lot of kind of negative emotions and stuff, but I think we've all kind of at different periods experienced some, or had these positive realizations. I think we've all benefited from not being so busy all the time, and actually taking a chance to stop and smell the flowers a little bit has been really important. And kind of that prioritizing what is important.
Yeah, I think everyone's a lot more open as well, which is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Like you say, in all walks of life, but especially in the music scene, it seems like it's easier to talk to people now and put forward ideas, and everyone's just in it. We're all in it together, so everyone's helping each other out, and it feels like some of the hierarchies have kind of broken down a little bit, which is really, I think that's definitely a positive thing. Yeah.